Hi, I'm Trish Lee, and you are watching Right with Trish, the place to be to build your confidence and to make your dreams happen. Have you ever been in one point of your life where you had different choices, different life paths to choose, and you wondered to yourself, which is the right path to choose and which is the wrong one that you might regret later on? If yes, then today's show is for you. Someone on Instagram recently asked me about this question: how do I know which is the right path to take in my life? And I can fully understand how stressful this must feel, how heavy it feels inside your heart to fear making the wrong decision, to want to just make sure that you make the right step and not regret it down the road. There are a few strategies that you can use to help you to get a clearer idea of which path is the more suitable one for you. But before I dive into that, I just want to share that I truly do understand what you are feeling. So just let me take you back a little bit to my past. Since I was a teenager, I was the kind of person who always knew exactly what I wanted in life. Okay, there was no 1 second of hesitation. There was no doubt in my mind. I knew very clearly what my next steps in my life would be. In fact, when I was in secondary school, before I even graduated, I knew what was the course that I wanted to take in university, and I applied for that before I even graduated. When I got to university, before I even finished my diploma, I knew exactly what was the job that I wanted to do, and that was to join Singapore Airlines. And so I got a job first before I even finished my diploma, and so on and so forth, and I continued to build my career. So by the time I was 23, I was already having a manager position in an international fitness studio company. Now, while I was building up my career, I had a lot of failed relationships. I came to a point in my life whereby I really was just sick of the whole love game, sick of getting into relationships. And I told myself I wanted a break. I literally didn't want to get involved in any relationships at all. And I made a promise to myself, at least a year, no, I'm not going to get into that. I was so heartbroken at one point of time, I even prayed to God and I told him that I don't mind if I die alone and I don't ever meet a good man that truly makes me happy or truly somebody that I can connect with. However, I would really appreciate if I do meet this man that is the one for me. I only prayed that he would be kind, caring, patient, truthful, and faithful to me. Those were my criteria. I thought that at one point of time I had it all figured out. Life was quite clear-cut. My plans were to be a Singapore citizen one day and continue building on my career and eventually bring my parents over to Singapore to stay with me after I buy my own apartment. Sounds simple enough, right? Little did I know, after 1 year of not dating, suddenly this man that I prayed for actually appeared in my life. I was in Singapore at that point of time. He was living and working in Germany. He was only in Singapore for holiday. Things wouldn't have been so complex if he was based in the same country as I was, but no, that's life for you. Sometimes things just happen and it's beyond your control. So there I was at this point of my life, and I asked myself, which path should I take? Should I go with the love of my life, a kind of love that I've never felt before? Or do I stay in Singapore and pursue my career, continue to build it, stay with my family? It was a really tough decision. So with me standing at that juncture of my life, wondering which is the right decision to take, I came up with a few strategies that really helped me a lot, and now I would love to share it with you. Strategy number 1, faith and values. Roy E. Disney once said, "When your values are clear to you, making decisions become easier." What does your moral foundation and values tell you? Learn to trust those guides and follow them. And if ever you feel like you're being pulled left and right due to somebody else's expectation on you, then hold on to this quote by the wise Michelle Obama. I have learned that as long as I hold fast to my beliefs and values and follow my own moral compass, then the only expectations I need to live up to are my own. Strategy number 2, identify what you hate. Probably people might tell you, hey, you should identify what you love. But what if you work the other way around and identify what you don't like? Like, what's the kind of lifestyle that you don't want? Or what's the kind of career path that you don't really like? Or the kind of relationships that doesn't gel well with you? So when you narrow it down and you know better what are the things and the criteria that you don't want, then you actually might just get a better idea what you do want. Once you know more clearly what you do want, then you can take the appropriate decisions to create the reality that you want. Strategy number 3, compare and contrast. Now, it's very easy to just think in your head, okay, if I take this part, this is going to happen, or this part, then it's not going to be so good. But rather than just keep it all in your mind, actually take a piece of paper and write it out physically, because this will really help help you with gaining clarity. Write out all the pros and cons of each choice that you have. And by doing so, trust me, you're going to have a better idea, okay, what you want and what you don't want, and what's the better option for you for the long term. Strategy number 4, the regret test. When you're faced with very life-changing, hard to make decisions, what you can do is ask yourself these 2 questions. Project and look to the end of your life and ask yourself, first question, would you regret not taking this path? And second question, if you did take this path and things didn't work out, would you be at peace with yourself that you at least gave it a shot? If your answer to both of these questions is yes, then you know that you're on the right track. Strategy number 5, interview people who have done what you want to do. This strategy may or may not be possible for you, but if it is, I highly recommend that you do it. Sometimes what you imagine and what is reality may be 2 very different things. So if you have the chance to actually interview someone who has done exactly what you want to do, then you can ask them what are the struggles that they went through, how did they overcome them? You can also ask them how did they know that that path was the right path for them? And lastly, you could also ask them for their friendly advice. If they were you in your shoes, what would they advise you? Decide, commit, and don't judge yourself. Research has shown that we make decisions almost every second or every minute of every day. And what actually influences these decisions that we make? It's our psychological factors, our cultural factors, the information that we have on a certain thing. There's so many factors to consider. So from one day to another, our perspective on something may vary. It's exactly because there's so many factors that can influence us that at the end of the day, sometimes we may fear that we made the wrong decision, or we might potentially regret our decision later on in life. So the key here is to commit and make the best of the decision that you made. Learn to trust yourself that you're making the right decision based on your circumstances and the knowledge that you have. If one day in the future, the path that you chose is not really working out how you had hoped for, then don't regret and judge yourself, because I can tell you it's really easy to think back on hindsight and think to yourself, I should have done that, or I should have chosen that path instead, or you're such an idiot, you should have chose that path instead. But hey, on the flip side, have you ever asked yourself, how sure are you that if you did take the other path, that it wouldn't be worse off? How sure are you that it would be better? For all you know, if you chose the other path, you could have been in an even worse situation than you are now. Let me try and paint this to you in a different picture. Making life choices is sometimes a little bit like choosing what you want for lunch. Sounds a little funny, but bear with me. Let's say you're served with a plate of juicy, tender chicken rice, and on another plate, you're served with pad thai noodles, okay? These two dishes are offered to you, and you have to choose one. Of course, you could tell me that, hey, I love both of these dishes and I want to eat both of them. Well, you might be able to, but you also risk getting sick from overeating. So most people will probably have to choose just one dish. Now, let's just say that you chose the chicken rice and you forgo the pad thai noodles. As you're eating the rice, what if the rice doesn't meet your expectation and you regret choosing this rice and you thought to yourself, hey, I should have chose the noodles? Chances are the noodles is probably still available for you to order later on in life. And if not, maybe in the future, at that point of time, there is a better variation of these noodles. So have faith in your decisions, and even if things don't work out, trust yourself that there's always something else better for you. There is always a choice, because when one chapter closes, another will always begin. So let's conclude today with a quote of the day. There is no right or wrong path in life. There is only the path you create. Decide, commit, and enjoy every chapter in your life. There is no need to fear or regret, because when one chapter closes, another begins. Now I'd like to hear from you. What are the steps or strategies that you've taken whenever you're faced with a life-changing decision? Do share your thoughts with me or your experience down below in the comments or over at my blog trishandco.com. While you're at my website, do sign up for my Trish exclusive newsletter to get a free ebook on how to build true confidence. And also by signing up, you're gonna get powerful insights, freebies, and so much more from myself that I don't share anywhere else. And don't forget, if you have any personal questions that you would like to ask me to help guide you on, do feel free to write to me at my page, Ask Trish Anything, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you with some empowering steps. Did you like this episode? If yes, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my uplifting channel. And also, I'll be really grateful if you will share this with your friends. My dear friends, live strong and have the courage to create a life you love, because your happiness matters. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time on Thrive with Trish.